Welcome back to SourceFed Studios. I'm Kilimanjaro Gwyn.
This episode was brought to you by Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and an incredible 24/7 customer support. Try Squarespace at squarespace.com/SF and enter offer code SourceFed at checkout to get 10% off.
It's back to 98.1.
Would you ever do radio?
Yeah.
I don't care who knows it. There's roaches in this building. And lots of them.
Honestly,
there was a
way
time
less.
when they were like, I wanted to do funny videos about all the roaches in this building, and unnamed people were like, do not do that. And I was like, why? Why not? We're supposed to make it seem like we live in the cleanest and work in the cleanest building possible?
I posted on Snapchat.
I don't know.
An open sewer pipe over there where they were
Listen,
calling out.
I need everyone to be careful about saying open sewer pipe.
Hold on.
Because that's
sounds...
the term I keep hearing. But if there was actually an open sewer pipe in this building, it would smell like shit trash.
It would really.
Oh, you're a plumber now.
It's actually a hellmouth.
It's probably just like a hole into like... Maybe into the
Sorry,
close.
it's a sewage. It's a pipe for sewage where the cockroaches were crawling up
I don't
from
know if it's
underneath.
I think sewage is the incorrect word.
That's what the landlord called it.
Okay,
the landlord is probably not American.
You know how you just said. You know how you just said that that there's a lot of cockroaches. There was a time where there was far more cockroaches.
Yeah.
Like
There's
right
less
now,
cockroaches
right
now.
if you see a cockroach now, you're like, hey. A cockroach.
And it's like, hey.
But the funniest thing about it is we used to name all the cockroaches in this building Jeremy.
You did.
They used to be called Jeremy.
That was before he got hired.
Well, that's the thing. There was no association with that name whatsoever.
Yeah.
But
you can't be the boss now.
Someone came in named Jeremy, and he now is our boss.
And it was like, it's not because of you, but like you do and reinforce it. So
we had a meeting amongst friends where we were like, all right, we gotta stop using Jeremy.
Yeah, it was like I disagreed because
stop calling him Jeremy.
It was a big meeting.
If there's two Jeremys, Big Jeremy and Little Jeremys.
I think either way, the association is incorrect.
What if people started calling you Big Steve or Big Sam? Would you want that? Is that cool?
I don't like that. No, I don't like that.
What about Lil Sam?
No, definitely don't
Definitely
like that.
not Lil Sam.
What about Lil Danny?
Lil
like
Danny
that.
is a great name.
I like Lil Danny.
I like Lil Daniel too.
Lil
if it's
Daniel.
formal.
I like Lil Danny.
Lil Danny.
Are we going yet?
I can only assume we are.
Christopher? Is we going?
Yeah, we're going. Okay. We've been filming.
We're 3 minutes in.
I really I like that the production booth has moved from way over there to over here because now it'll be so much calmer. Remember how much people it would get frustrating because we'd be like, "Are we on? Are we doing it?"
And then we'd hear,
because us on-camera hosts think we can be as loud as we want. I don't remember who it was that said it, but I think it was Joe. They were talking about how like we have all these signs up that say like "quiet on the set," "be quiet on." The only people that are ever loud are the fucking hosts,
and they're the ones who complain the most about it when they're on camera.
It's never anybody else but one of us being like, "Hey, here's my bit on Snapchat." Like,
yeah.
What's up, black folk? You watching 98.9. I swear to God. Please, Chris, in the budget, can we get a sound effects board and only you can touch it?
I wish I could see Chris right now.
I'm
There's
glad.
a curtain.
I like that the mystery that he's there.
Yeah.
He's like the Wizard of Oz. He's over there. Yeah, we don't get to see him, but he's pulling the strings.
Who knows what's going on? Is that camera on me right now?
Chris,
Hey, everybody.
you know what? Chris is an integral part of this building.
He is.
For many reasons. But for me, the most important role Chris has is the role of not laughing at any of our jokes. He does not think we're funny at all.
Oh, my God.
And in fact, I get a sneaking suspicion that he wants us to be hurt.
Yeah.
He wants something bad to happen to
No,
us.
what happened? So we got like more. We got more behind the camera people. Like we hired more people, and I remember like when the first couple videos we did, I remember I made some jokes and looked back, and there's like pretty much a full audience of people just not. smiling.
Nowadays the white wall is like it's like fucking ABC News.
It is.
There's like 15 white dudes behind the camera.
White dudes. People are always like, we get all these messages, and okay, I can't do that joke. I was gonna
certainly
do.
can't.
I certainly can't.
I just want to say that, you know, a lot of people in the YouTube community surround themselves with yes men.
Yes.
And people that think they're like gods and that they're perfect people. And I think Chris is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
Chris absolutely does not like any of us. But he's a professional and he does a great job at what he does. And it's important to have at least one guy like that at your business place.
How many times have you tried to make him laugh?
I've tried. We did a whole video where we tried to make him laugh, and he didn't laugh once.
That's fucking
We
great.
made fun of his shirt. We challenged his sexuality. We said inappropriate things that are definitely going to be edited out.
Oh my god!
And none of it.
Sometimes I forget
about him.
Sometimes I forget that I really do enjoy doing this job.
Yeah, it's a great job.
When do you forget?
I had a while where I was like, man, fuck my life, and I was like, what the fuck else am I gonna do?
Look, everybody gets that.
Yeah.
In fact, I know people who are actually millionaires.
Yeah.
Real life millionaires that are sad.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah, it's real life, man.
It's just like no matter what you do, once you've done it the 1,000th time, you're like, fuck. I'm like, I know, like Obama, like all these people who are like running for president are like, please give me this goddamn job. But about 2 years in, you're gonna be like, I don't really care about the Panama bullshit.
2 years
like,
in, really?
I'm sure. Probably 2 days in, you're like, oh, I do not want to sign any of these bills. Like.
Yeah.
That's what I assume it's like.
I just think that there is no job that is 100% free of stress and, that causes sadness and depression.
At some point, you're going to hate it to some kind of degree. At anything, no matter what you're going to do. Yeah, you're right.
Did you think?
I think if you think about it, you can make a list of like, this is what I like to do sometimes. Sometimes I like to sit at home and I like to make a list of all the conflicts in my life.
Really?
Like just a mental list. I don't like write it all down or anything.
Okay.
I make a mental list of the conflicts in my life, and then I kind of like one by one list them in from most severe to the least severe. And I go over in my head like how to eliminate at least the top 5. And I try to do that every day.
Damn, you got that many?
Yeah, dude.
See, what a lot of people...
Everybody does.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know about you is that you're like real fun and goofy, but you're the most well-together person I know.
I think at least I convey a good image of that.
Yeah, like who's has all their bills paid on time and done?
Yeah.
If something
We were
breaks,
talking
who
about
fix
the other
it?
day. Yeah, like you were like fun and silly at work, but as soon as you go home, it's like you still not. Of course,
You
you're
know
fun,
why? Can
but
I
you
tell
got
you
like
why?
stuff
Please
to do.
tell me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a 33-year-old man right now, and there was probably 20 years of my life where I relied on literally everyone else but myself to get me through a day. I didn't have my license for a time, and everyone would drive me around everywhere. I had my parents, spending money on my food and clothes and shit. And then I got to a point where I was like, oh, shit, I got to be responsible. And it just wasn't, it's not attractive.
What did you...
No, it's not.
It's not attractive at all.
What's that? Oh, to become...
No, if you're
responsible.
looking at somebody and like all of their things are being paid for that way, they're not taking responsibility for their life. And like that's not saying like living at home is a bad thing or anything like that.
No, not at all. Not
And
at
if
all.
you're
There is a time where you
student-
need it.
Yeah,
There's a time where it's
you need it.
required that your parents pay for all of your things. But hopefully you get to a point where you're like, I'm old enough now where like I can't be having my parents do my laundry and buy my food.
Yeah.
I need to be responsible. And for me, it took a little longer to do that.
Wait, if I can ask, how long before you got your license? How long did it take?
I think I must have been like 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I must have been like 20 years old. Will, how you doing over there?
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
almost been a year since I've had my
Yeah.
license.
I was either 19 or
Interesting.
20.
I was 21.
I wasn't
Yeah.
throwing anybody under the bus. Just asking.
yeah.
Just asking.
And so I don't know. It just you get to a point where you're like, and what I'm saying about it being unattractive is that you meet people and they're like, what do you do? And you're like, well, I sit at home and do nothing, and I don't have a job, and my parents do my laundry and pick out my clothes for me.
I'm really good
And
at first-person shooters, though.
Yeah, there's a time where
real good.
that's okay, but then there's a time after that where it's very gross and awful, and nobody wants to associate themselves with you because you don't have your shit together. So I kind of had to kick myself in
I
gear
like
at some
what
point.
you said that you do is like to come up with a list of things that your conflicts. What I do, I only do it every couple of months when I feel like I don't know who I am anymore, and I write down. I go into Microsoft Word and I type William Haynes is this. William Haynes is that. William Haynes is this, and also William Haynes is not this.
Yeah.
William Haynes, and that's just helps me.
What is a not?
William Haynes is not mean. Like I felt like I got to a point like a couple months ago where I was like, I'm becoming a mean person. So I told myself, William Haynes is not mean.
I've actively noticed that you stopped doing that.
Yeah, I found joy in other things.
Actively being mean to people.
No, you actively stopped being mean to people.
Yeah.
But also, I believe, and this might be getting a little deep, but I believe that your meanness was not a result of intentional meanness.
No.
It was a result of, like, perhaps not being super aware of social do's and don'ts.
Yeah, and I've gotten older, and I've like really learned that like some things I think most people don't really pay attention to themselves as much as I do, and I really like watched myself, and I was like, oh, this is how I'm affecting people.
Yeah,
and I just had to learn what things are okay to say and what
well,
not.
the thing is too is that there are people who are massively insecure.
Yeah,
and most people in the entertainment business.
Yeah. In fact,
and you can't just be like, forehead.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find people in the entertainment industry that don't take every little thing you say, regardless of how well you know that person, to an extreme heart, and it destroys them on the inside. And I personally know people, and myself included, who have been ripped to shreds from one sentence read on the internet from a stranger.
Yeah,
and it happens. It absolutely happens, and I think there are some people that do it in a vindictive way, and then there are some people that are just, they don't understand that what they just said would affect someone in a very negative way.
And what I've learned about like Twitter, like no matter who you are, if you get a bunch of tweets and you read a bunch of them, if you read 1,000, eventually you'll be like one of them, you'll be like, that got me. And what it is really is in our brain, we read it in a voice that would affect us.
No, and that's something you should actively do as you grow up, is that when you read it, like, of course it's the fucking internet. If it's written words, try to read it from this stranger's point of view as best as you can. Don't go studying them, but read it from different voices, so you don't end up getting hurt for no reason.
Right. The best way I can describe it is for people who maybe have a hard time understanding, because I know that there's this whole thing about like YouTubers and like ignoring an audience, like just ignore the trolls, don't feed the trolls and shit like that. But imagine what it would be like. Because right now, I mean, before I ever got onto YouTube, I was just Steve Zaragoza, a guy that worked
for a while,
had a job, and I was Steve Zaragoza for a very long time. The guy that nobody really knew was just a funny local guy or whatever.
And I was just telling Darren, those are the people who have the talent.
Yeah. Well, it's true. You get the people that just kind of came out of nowhere or whatever. The ones that actually apply themselves.
Years of your life honing your skills and like loving it as a thing you did.
So everybody has insecurities, right? Everybody. No one is free from insecurities. So imagine you're a normal person with normal insecurities, and suddenly 30 to 50 to 200 to 1,000 people know who you are. And then they start listing your insecurities, or at least some insecurities.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe they're just saying shit for the sake of saying it. But every once in a while, there's a comment from someone that nails one of your insecurities, and it's so hard.
Yeah. There was one I got. It was back years ago when I would kind of come on Table Talks every once in a while and wouldn't like talk because I didn't feel comfortable or didn't feel like I had a place or I had a right, really, is how I felt, to like speak up. And then someone did like this 3-paragraph long comment, and I read the whole thing. Didn't sleep that night. I was just like, I feel fucking awful because it was all true. It's everything that I believed, and like I didn't know what to do.
Right,
I didn't know what to do.
That's the thing. There are the people that will just blindly be assholes, but then there's people who are like, "Is this for me?" Okay.
Was he looking right at you?
It's pointed at you.
I don't know how to tilt a mic up.
You got it.
It's like that? Okay. And then there are people who are like so succinct in an insult, or they're so succinct in their like way of trying to like get under your skin, and it seems so much actually intelligent and well thought out.
That's because that's how you read it in your brain. It's some little boy who was like, you got a big forehead, you piece of shit.
There's some people that are like dedicated enough, if they follow you and they like the content and they see something that bothers them, they can take the time and fully come up with a thought and write it out, and it will hurt. It will hurt.
And I feel like the best way to combat that, because you know, the YouTubers, the people like us here, we receive it on an insane scale. But for people who just have insecurities, who maybe are regularly called out on them, I feel like the best way to kind of like fight that is to ask yourself why you have those insecurities. And again, no one's going to be completely free of them. It's impossible. And some insecurities are just kind of like genetic things that you'll never ever be able to be rid of.
Yeah.
But being comfortable with yourself and being comfortable in your insecurities, or at least finding out why you have those insecurities, will help you at least deal with them on a way that's way more constructive than just being like, yeah, they're right. Now I'm going to go eat a tub of ice cream and sit in my room and cry. Instead of doing that, it's like maybe try to find out what it is that they're actually talking about and figure out what that is in you and what you can do to kind of like, if it's something that's just you and that's who you are, then be you and forget what the fucking people are saying, even if they nail it perfectly. But also, like, you know, realize that insecurities are normal. And it's very easy to just kind of like figure out what those are and just kind of deal with them one at a time.
Everybody's got them.
And some of your insecurities might be really funny. Like I
you can turn your insecurities into jokes.
Absolutely.
That's what Louis C.K. does.
Yeah. And what
Like
the great
what?
part about it is,
Like
what?
his
What's
baldness. He talks about
baldness.
his baldness a lot.
oh, his whole thing.
And how gross he is.
But when you have like insecurities and you're not afraid to like put them out there, what you will find is that there are a lot of people. You might think that like what I've done a lot is like I'll be talking about something super specific about me that I'm like no one can possibly relate with this.
But you do try to make it a relatable comment.
No, but people
It's not a
say
bad
that.
thing. No, you just say, usually you phrase things as relatable
I've
comments.
learned-
yeah.
I think I've.
It's like, you know the time when you doing like, no,
It's
man.
not relatable.
No, I don't.
And then all my friends will be like, no, I don't know about that at all.
Yeah.
But people on the internet will be like, that happened to me
Yeah,
too.
it's
So it's the
good
same
phrasing
thing.
for a video.
Yeah. But that's what the internet is. It's like the like the negative part about being on the internet is sometimes somebody might nail exactly what you hate about yourself. But because it's such a wide range of people, you might be like, one time this horrible thing happened to me, and they'll be like, yeah, I slipped out in front of and dropped my croissant too.
And then ate it. I dropped my croissant in mud and then ate it right after.
Somebody
I have no
has
shame.
to. I'm one of those people that
Yeah,
would never do that.
Oh, oof.
I was
Never
talking
mind. Then
about
I was going
you.
to tell a story.
Yeah.
Is that the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate
That you
shit.
ate
Yeah, outside my front lawn when I was going to school when I was a kid. It was icy, slipped, basically broke my tailbone, but
Oh,
I dropped a
man.
bagel, and I picked it up, finished the bagel. I don't care. I was in a bad mood, and the bagel made me feel better.
Was it
Okay,
warm?
so we were just talking about eating a croissant
From the mud.
out of the mud, and then you said, oh man, I ate shit once. And I was like, did you actually eat shit as a kid? And I thought you were going to tell a story about eating poop. Actually eating poop.
Collecting
What
little
I-
cat.
Yeah.
What I think you have a gift for, Sam, that you don't know is that you get into the most awkward situations.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Oh, I'm aware. Don't
How-
worry. I didn't
But
miss that part.
why does that happen to you?
I have a theory about it, but you go ahead.
Let's go. Okay, I was going to say I don't know, so go ahead. Tell me a theory.
Oh, okay.
Let us know in
My-
the comments down below what
So
the theories are.
my theory is, because I've been thinking about, I have this show that I'm doing tonight, and I was thinking about how my story that I'm going to tell a scary story, sort of.
Ooh.
And my scary story is about how it kind of, I started off by saying that I feel like I'm a magnet for really weird shit and uncomfortable shit.
You have your eyes are open for it.
Yeah, but I think more so than like I'm a magnet for it is that I think I'm more consciously aware of it.
Maybe.
And I
yeah.
think that's the answer.
I think
Is that I'm consciously aware of all the weird things, or
Yeah,
because
because
a lot
most
of things
people, when
happen.
something embarrassing happens to them,
yeah.
or when something like very strange happens to them, they instantly want to forget about it.
Oh no,
They
I
want to
don't.
put it in the back of their mind and they want to move on. When someone slips and falls in the grocery store, they want that moment to be erased in time.
I think-
and they would use a three wish genie to take that away, slipping in the fucking grocery store. But for us,
It's
that's
funny.
we take that and we turn it into something funny.
Yeah.
And therefore it doesn't become a regret. It becomes something that we're more
it's
comfortable with.
enjoyable. I know
Yeah.
it sucks for you, but like as your
No.
friend, it is truly it's if there's any positive, we enjoy.
Oh, thank you so much. That
Yeah.
I am basically
You're
like
entertaining your friends.
Yeah, I'm like a sitcom. Just
Yeah.
like let's see.
We're
Hey,
all
what does Sam
sitcom
do?
characters.
Like okay, so I'm putting together some cosplays, and Raina told me about one of her friends who could help me like finish putting it together. Her name, whatever, call her like Lauren. Went over to Lauren's house, and I knocked on the door, and I was like, I feel a little uncomfortable. It was like 9 a.m. on a Saturday to go over and drop this piece off to her, and her roommate opened the door, and all of a sudden my brain reverted back to junior high Sam, and I was like, what's wrong? What happened to all my social skills? And I was like, hi, I'm Sam. And she's like, yeah, you want to talk to Lauren? I'm like, yeah, it's Sam. I'm Sam. I'm here for Lauren. And, I'm like, and then like Lauren came down and was like, hey. And I was like, hi, I'm Sam. I'm like, you've said it 3 times. You fucking stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, here's my costume, and I'm gonna go, and that's it. And then I walked away from her.
Something
after
just happened.
I snapped, and I was like, "What?" All I had to do was, "Hey, thanks for doing this for me. Bye." That's all I had to do.
Yeah.
But instead, I quadrupled the amount of talking I even needed to do in that situation.
Everybody wants to be fucking cool and perfect and eloquent when they speak to people, especially strangers for the first time. You always want to give a good impression no matter who it is. But, we can't all be fucking like the Fonz and shit.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you're going to have weird mistakes like that sometimes.
I just thought about this. Last night, I had the good fortune to go to the Captain America Civil War premiere, and I was like, it'd be really cool if like one of the guys, like one of the Avengers, like did a pose and like acted like their character. I'm like, if like Spider-Man like jumped up on this thing and did like a move, I'm like, if I did that, I know my shoes would slip and I would eat shit immediately.
And that's probably why they don't do it.
And that's probably why they don't do that. I mean, then people actively just choose like, you know what? There's a big chance of me fucking up bad and a very small margin of me looking cool. And for me, at least in my life, I usually go for the small margin of looking cool because at least I'm going to get a story out of it.
It's because your brain's turned on. I've learned something over like the past couple months. Like there's this video of me, this DMX music video, and in it I like jump on a fence and I'm like barking. It's because in the real me, real William Haynes would never even climb a fence. But I've learned this skill of not thinking about things. I got into character. I remember right before I was like, okay, I gotta act like DMX. So I just went, and then we started filming. And I was like, I remember getting on the fence on top and I'm barking. And I looked down and I was like, I've never seen my body do this before. It's because I didn't think. When you think, am I going to slip? You're going to slip.
Well, that's
Spider-Man.
what acting is, man. That's acting.
Yeah.
It's putting yourself in positions that you don't normally put yourself in.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being
I do it all
able
the
to
time.
act like yourself in those situations, or what you would do.
That's what acting is. It's you act the way you would if you were that person.
Yeah.
That's why when people say someone's a bad actor, I'm like, you can tell when someone's a bad actor when they're just like, or maybe their personality you don't think fits for the role.
Yeah.
Is what the actual issue is. Yeah.
Probably.
Like if I was playing like Captain America, it just wouldn't. I could deliver the lines how I would say them, but I would never be like, it's for justice and all that.
Yes, that is his famous catchphrase.
It's for justice,
and all that.
That's what I would say.
I
That's
have
why you don't write for those movies.
I have zero confidence in my acting abilities. Like I feel like I could do comedy very well. But if I ever need to do like serious stuff, like I did sort of serious stuff when I did like that Frankenstein show. Yeah. But I had zero confidence in myself, and so I fucked up a lot.
Yeah, Anna did all the real work on that.
She kind of did. But so I had zero confidence in being able to do that. So I figured like, but instead of just being like a little bitch about it and being like, I'm not confident in myself, why don't I go take acting classes or something and try to hone in on those skills?
I started taking improv classes, and now I'm like moving up into like the ranks and finding some other like acting schools I can take.
Man.
It's very scary. It's very, very scary, but really rewarding.
Yeah.
I like it. Did you?
True, huh?
No, I want to though. I want to take. Everyone still tells me to try it.
Do it. I mean, there's literally zero reason not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just finding time at this point.
I was really sad for like the past 2 weeks because I felt like I got into one of those moods that I was like, why the fuck would I want to do anything? You get in the mood and you're like, I don't want to do anything at all. And I think you just made me realize, like you were saying, like it's scary, like going through those ranks. And it reminded me like kind of an anime thing, like, ooh, I'm in a competition. I got to be number one. And I feel like I need something new like that. I need to get into like, I need to enter a competition of some sort.
What if you got like a hobby? Like you like picked up boxing and you started doing boxing.
Or what if you just started getting into rap battles?
There you go.
Either of those two. But you got Darren tipped me off to these videos, like cypher videos. You got people at home type in disaster rap battles. It's this group where a bunch of hang out and just
what was
rap.
that word? Oh, I got it.
They look DeFranco. Where you just a bunch of people, like scary looking people, just come and rap and say mean shit to each other.
That's terrifying.
And I'm like, that's where I could put my need to be like, fuck man. Like sometimes I don't need to be like fuck man on this podcast. I could go to these rap battles and be like, you and your mama, she look real stupid. I'ma get her somewhere and we do it in the booth. And like that's just
yeah.
It would just be
do
fun.
it.
Sounds about right.
Boxing, so
I've listened to one of those before. That's exactly what those sound like.
Yeah.
You should start. You know how there's like fantasy football leagues and stuff like that, you should start a YouTuber rap battle league.
A YouTuber rap battle
Yeah, and
league,
it
but
just
for
doesn't
real.
have to be like we don't have to fucking monetize it. Not everything needs to have a fucking ad on it, but you can just make it like some YouTubers I know go play basketball on the weekends and shit.
I think I need to do something that's not on camera and not for comedy, so I can really let myself go.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to, like, because, like, when you're on camera, like, there's this need to stay, like, on brand and, like, okay, this is, like, sometimes I want to do something that I don't usually want to do. Like, sometimes I really want to go and hang out with some.
What's that word?
He's saying a lot of words. Hold on.
There's so many words.
And, they can't even afford that.
I kind of agree with that, Will. I feel like I used to vlog a lot, like, when I went places.
Yeah.
And then I, like, started going to places where everybody else was doing that too.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like really obnoxious.
It is extremely. When there's more than one vlogger in the room, you're like, what are you getting? What the fuck are you getting out of this experience?
Yeah.
I get it though, because some experiences
your
are
job.
like, and it's your job, and some experiences are like really cool, and you want to share that with your audience and stuff, and I understand that. But I started to ignore my friends and stuff like that because of it, and not having that great of a time because of it, and being too focused on like getting a good shot or something.
Some people really do like that. Like, I know that I'm the type of person, like, I was always carrying a camera around before they were on phones, and that's why I loved Snapchat when I first started using it, because it's like, now I get to always have a camera, and it's like socially acceptable to be filming things.
Yeah.
But like, I was last night I was at the In-N-Out in Hollywood at 12 a.m. There was an accident right next to it, and I saw 2 people filming it, and I'm like, if you're not involved, and one of the groups of people was like, all well dressed and like, we on YouTube, and I'm like, y'all a bunch of fucking idiots. I'm probably gonna get caught. I'm sorry. Well, fuck all y'all.
Yeah, maybe they want
For
to
filming
sell
an
some
accident?
shit.
Yeah, that's not really.
Maybe they want to
that's not-
sell some shit to TMZ or like
Maybe.
the news or something.
I don't know. Maybe they could be involved in it, and I'm all wrong, and they're probably way more popular than me, and I'm gonna get in trouble, and they're gonna release a rap diss.
Well,
and
it's
I'm
just
gonna
like
come back
I was
hot.
at a Target once, and I saw a popular YouTuber come in with his friends, and he was vlogging the second he came in and being very loud and obnoxious, and like people
At
were like
Target?
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this seems like not a good. I mean, that's why my vlogs are always so strange and not normal and stream of consciousness.
Do not watch the one where Steve and I go into Target and mess with all the chip bags.
Well, see, but
That's
the
a
thing.
great one.
But that's
I
the
enjoy
thing.
that one.
That was
Like
fun.
that's like at least an isolation of disruption.
Yeah.
You put all the bags outside the.
It's the most. That was the most polite way to be disruptive, because all we did was like crinkle on bags.
Yeah.
But really
yeah.
close
if
to
you
the
weren't,
mic.
if you weren't 3 feet away from us,
Yeah.
you would never know what we were doing. And I guess it's like about that. I don't know. I like to also kind of like do things that normal YouTube type people wouldn't do, and that can sometimes come off as obnoxious. I understand, but I think it's more about like
Maybe
doing
with, like-
something a little different.
Maybe with the culture, but like as at least for somebody that is around you for a large majority of years. Yeah, you nailed that sentence pretty well. But no, like it's more fun at least.
Yeah,
When you make
I
your
try
videos.
to. I
Yeah.
try to
The
make
weird
it fun.
makes it better. I
That's
don't
what I
need.
try.
I don't need to hear like, oh well, I had In-N-Out today, and I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy a little
Yeah.
nice pair of slacks.
And
And
that's the
then
thing.
go
It used to
home.
be easy to just like shit on that. Like, well, who wants to watch a video of a guy honestly talking about his day or her day?
And I shit on it a little bit. I still watch the Shade Tards for like 3 years, so it's just that's not what I mean.
But
I still
mean,
enjoy
like,
it.
there's something about the Shade
Vlogging's
Tards
cool.
that's basically kind of like a family reality show.
Yeah.
And there are some people who are just like literally talking about what they did on a Tuesday.
If you
Yeah.
think
And
about
it's
the
like-
old, like if you think about old reality shows, there's I only watched, is the Osbournes? It was the
Yeah,
Osbournes,
I
that's what
watched
it's called.
that.
I watched one episode and there's a 10-minute segment where the daughter lost something in her purse and she poured it out on the driveway and she, like sifted through it. And I was like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is
Because
what the
people
show
want to see
is.
what kooky rich people are
My
up to.
parents love reality shows, because like when you're like like my parents are not. My parents are the most real people they are. My parents are not like these like, like, okay, how can I explain that without offending my whole family? My parents are real, and real people who are like, oh, I really do live in America and this is about it. They will watch reality shows because these people are so stupid.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
Well, that's
to
why a
laugh.
lot of people watch
Yeah.
it, because they're like, it's kind of like a car crash. You
Yeah.
can't help but look at it.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
so
want to see
terrible.
what's going on.
I've
Yeah.
always disliked that analogy, even how it doesn't matter how true it is.
I
I'm just
know.
like, that's so awful.
terrible.
Yeah.
That's so awful. But yeah, you'd look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd look at a car accident.
Yeah, I saw a puppy out 2 days ago, and I was like, ooh, I wish I was Sam so I'd do something about this.
You didn't get the damn puppy.
Okay, I turned around.
I'm not going to judge. Everyone does that. And there's times when I've done it too.
I mean, I get it because you figure, what the hell am I going to do with this puppy?
And I was in a very nice neighborhood.
Animal shelter.
So I was in a very nice
well,
neighborhood.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
But Will's a different
I really don't know what to do either. Yeah. I was in a really nice neighborhood, so I was like, first off, whoever has this puppy can just walk out their house and find it. So I turned my car all the way around, and I still saw the puppy, and then I couldn't stop in the right place, so I turned around again, and then the puppy was gone, so I was like, well, now I can't do anything about it.
What?
So,
Was it actually a puppy?
no, actually, it was an older dog. It was just small.
Okay.
It had a tag on it.
The luckiest I've ever gotten was like I was driving to work and then a dog ran out in the middle of the street. A bunch of cars stopped and I opened my door and I got so lucky. I was like, "Come here!" and it got in my lap and I was like, "Oh, thank God!
Oh,
you
that's
don't need to
perfect.
fucking chase a goddamn dog down." You
Yeah.
ever done that before?
I've definitely chased down stray dogs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's terrifying because you think like you're gonna jump in the street and
Yeah.
there's reasons
And you
why
think
you
you're
shouldn't
gonna
do it.
see an animal die, and that's
Yeah.
the worst thing.
But yeah, no, I grabbed him and we went to the animal shelter. He was chipped, so the person grabbed him the next
Oh,
day.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've not
Chip
had
your
luck with
dogs.
chipped dogs.
Yeah.
In Oxnard all the time, I would like find dogs that were injured after getting hit by a car or something, and we'd take them to the local animal hospital, and then that's that. You don't get.
Oh, that happened here
told what
once with a
happens.
greyhound, right?
Yeah, man.
I remember that.
Meg and I, we took in this dog and we watched it for a little while, and then we were gonna like split the costs on medical bills, but it had like insane tumors, and it was
Yeah.
like a beautiful dog.
Damn.
But it seemed like whoever owned the dog
No.
just knew and then got rid of it and like threw it out.
Because, like, you can't find that was a greyhound, right?
It was a beautiful dog.
Where the fuck
yeah.
do you find a greyhound? You could find, like, a fucking
Those are
Spanky.
bred dogs.
Yeah.
Those are like purebred,
Yeah.
fancy dogs.
Yeah.
But
That's
this
so shitty.
particular one had like a lot of medical issues. So yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I'm
Kinda-
sorry.
People always talk about, like, how, like, oh, I wish I was a dog. It's kind of terrible being a dog. You
Yeah.
you have to be in a house.
You wish you were a
or-
healthy dog,
Oh,
a
yeah.
healthy, loved
who
dog.
also was allowed to be in the backyard and inside, then your
Yeah.
life's great.
Then you
if
can
you're
do
one of
whatever you
those,
want.
huh?
Then you can do whatever you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
But if you're like, okay, I'm just an inside dog, life was probably kind of shitty. If
Yeah.
you're just an outside dog, life is probably, if it's a good backyard, not bad.
yeah.
Yeah, I would want to be an outside dog.
I'd rather be a person. I'm good with being a person.
yeah.
I've never like wanted to be like a dog. I've thought about it, but I'm just like, I want to do a
Man.
little bit more with my life
That's
than
true.
nap.
I have this very offensive comedy routine that I keep thinking of, and I keep trying to figure out a way to do it without it being offensive, and there's just no way to do it, and so I'll never be able to do it. But it's something along the lines of certain people live a dog's life,
But don't know it?
but don't know it, and like, because everyone talks about like, man, I wish I was a dog. I could just lay around all day and I don't have to do anything. There are people like that, and they're not doing well.
Man, I wish all my meals were brought to me and I
That's
didn't
the
have to cook
thing.
anything.
I there's no nice way to say it or funny way to say it, but there are definitely people that live kind of. But I wanted to say it's like the dog's life, but it's so rude. It's so fucked up to say
Man,
that. about
that's what
people.
One day.
comedy
One
One day
is.
it'll be okay.
Comedy is, I think, who is it that said that art is rarely nice?
Yeah.
It's like some people need to have that being said to them, and comedy is the best way to do it. Because
Yeah.
you'll be, the best thing in comedy is you'll be laughing at something really funny, and you'll be like, oh shit, that's about me. I'm one
Yeah.
of those guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the whole like, oh, it's funny because it's true thing.
Yeah.
It's that, and then it's the kind of like when you really mess with someone's brain with like the way they think you're gonna go with a joke, and then you go the exact opposite direction.
yeah.
But sometimes the only way to do that is to be really mean and like fucked up and say
Yeah.
something very like crass.
Yeah. But comedy might change over time, and it might be something completely different.
Maybe, but you look at Carlin and you look at Andrew Dice Clay and you look at like
Those greats.
You know,
what's
Lenny-
the name of the guy that like is just in a dark room and it's sometimes not even funny?
Dane Cook.
No,
Yeah.
older
Okay.
guy. Steve told me about
Bill
him.
Hicks.
Bill Hicks. Yeah,
Bill Hicks.
Yeah, yeah.
will go off too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're insane. I mean, their comedy still like is relevant to this day.
Yeah.
Like Sam Kinison, all those guys.
Yeah.
They told some amazing jokes that are incredibly relevant, but
to this day. Yeah.
insanely controversial stuff.
Yeah, like they have to get in trouble. Like Louis has that joke where he talks about where he says about the 3 words you shouldn't say, and it's just a bit that it's on YouTube. If you type in Louis C.K., it's one of the first things on there, and he talks about like, why can't I say the N-word? Like, why can't I be like going or whatever the fuck? And I'm like, he like really did it, and I'm like, he must have gotten into so much trouble, but a lot
like
of people
practicing that, like running it by his friends.
I
and
doubt
things.
he ever even did that.
No, imagine like he has to, because like I mean, as a comedian, like you guys like try stuff out, and like you have to like practice, and then jokes evolve. Like,
I'm sure his friends are used to it though, and maybe even worse than he is.
I would
definitely
like to
worse
know,
than he is.
I would like to know the first version of that joke.
You might want to take that one down a little bit, Louis.
I can only imagine though, because like I feel like you get up there, like he does like theaters sometimes, like some like not full arenas like Kevin Hart, but like I feel like when you get up there and you say whatever and people are laughing, I feel like how do you not end up going that far?
You've got to get them. You got to grab that audience and kind of command it. And then once you have the audience, then you can kind of go anywhere with it. George Carlin had a bit that was like all the Michael Jackson molestation allegations, and he basically was like, he's the greatest entertainer in the world. Let him have some kids.
You sound like a man.
Let him have some kids. Like, come on, what's the big deal? Come on. He's of all the entertainment and amazing music and dance moves, let him have a couple of kids.
I had this bit.
It's like, holy shit.
That reminds me of this bit that I did, and I did not get a good response from it. That my bit, I did it for like a year. I was like, all right, if you had to get molested by somebody, wouldn't it be Michael Jackson? Like, honestly,
I get why you didn't get laughs.
I'm being dead serious. Honestly, if they were like, well, who do you want to get molested by? MJ, 100%.
If you had to be, that's a terrible would you rather.
Yeah, it wouldn't be The Rock.
Scenario.
It wouldn't be The Rock. I wouldn't come back the same.
No.
Yeah.
MJ's probably real gentle.
Yeah. Rock with you all night, but maybe he's suppressed and he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
I love Michael Jackson. Maybe we don't need to say all that.
I hate that he's dead. It makes me so sad.
I'm
I
sorry.
know. You 80s kids.
Would
really took it.
Would you go to one of those 3D hologram tour things?
I saw the Michael Jackson 1 show in Vegas, which I recommend anybody go
Is that
see.
the hologram?
Well, it's supposed to be kind of a surprise, but yeah, at the end, because it kind of goes through his whole career.
Oh, and
it's
then
really
he comes out.
It's a really sad show. It's a Cirque show, and usually Cirque du Soleil shows are like very disjointed and kind of just like artistic interpretations of dance and song and whatever else and sexuality and whatever. But this one is like, it's kind of linear in the sense that, man, I need to see it again. It was so amazing because like the main characters of the show are these kids, not like small children, but they're like kids who like they come up to the Neverland Ranch gates and they're like on the ground broken, and it's like the destroyed mansion, and the mansion is just like gone, and they go through the mansion and they find like Michael Jackson artifacts, and each one of them kind of like assumes like an era of Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's really cool. Like one kid finds the glove, and there's like this really amazing routine with like a glove that comes out and starts dancing and moving around and stuff like that. And then
Cirque du Soleil is so
it's
fucking
just
cool.
it's brilliant, amazing, beautiful show, and it's Michael Jackson's music. And then at the end, there's like a full band, and then Michael Jackson comes out as the hologram and dances, and it's like, this is what it was like to see Michael Jackson.
True.
It's
so cool.
I never got to see in my life like Michael Jackson in person, and like I know literally millions of people have, and I wonder what that like.
We were too young.
We were too young, huh?
Yeah.
2009 is when he died, and I think I was in 11th grade. So yeah, by then like, and he was done touring and all that shit. Yeah.
Had a fun time. But have you seen a Cirque du Soleil show?
No,
never.
obviously
You have.
I've seen Love twice. I saw.
You saw Love?
Love is amazing.
that the Beatles one?
That's the Beatles one, and I
Uh-huh.
saw the performance they did during the Grammys that one year when Across
That's
the Universe
cool.
was nominated.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't at the Grammys, but like I saw it on TV, and I was like, this is so fucking cool. I want to see that. I saw a random one, which I don't remember the name of, when I was really young in Boston, and I was like, this is like, it was so cool. There was one of the acts was this kind of like larger guy comes out with a little boy, and the little boy is attached to a gigantic balloon, and
that's
like
cool.
he pushes the little boy out into the audience, and you can like, the boy lands in your hand, and you can push him back into like the stage
cool.
and push him around kind of like a beach ball would be in the audience. That was incredible.
I love the audience interaction they have at those shows. There's always some cool stuff like that.
Was that
is a
Las
dream.
Vegas?
No, I saw it in Boston because there's traveling shows and there's the fixed shows in Vegas. That is one dream job. I have no idea
so
what I would do
cool.
for Cirque du Soleil, because you create your own characters, you create your own backstory for everything you do, and you stick with it for like the rest of your life.
And the cool thing about Cirque shows
maybe more.
is, in Love, there's all these different characters too, and they keep coming back in and out of the scenes and stuff. But those characters, there's like 6 main characters in that show or something, or maybe it's 5 because of the Beatles. They all represent different versions of the Beatles, or they're all different Beatles but different ages and stuff. But you can, whenever they're on stage, you can't focus on just one of them, but you could see the show 5 times and get a different show every time because all these characters are all doing different things on stage. And you can't, like, you're following one for a second, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then your friend will be like, no, look at this guy. And you look over there, and he's, like, flipping up in the air and stuff. And you're like, this is, like, a sensory overload.
I like
the shows are so cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen one? You haven't seen one?
No. That just reminds me of, like...
you have to see... you got to see Caw.
Which one's Caw?
I think Caw is the one you would like. Caw is the one that actually has... It's, like, the only one that has, like, a story. But it's the one that's, like... It's like it's almost like, how do I explain it? It's like a story about a princess, and there's like remember at Comic-Con one year they did like a small version of Caw where people were running along the walls and there's like arrows and stuff.
Where was that?
It was at Petco Park.
No, I didn't see that one. But that sounds really cool. I want to see the water one.
I haven't
the
seen it.
Is it the whole thing is performed on the best way I can say is an adjustable swimming pool. It's a giant pool, but there is, like, the show opens, which, because my friends have told me, where someone walks out on the water and comes and talks to you, and they walk away, and then someone's on, like, a high dive, and they do a flip from, like, I don't know, 10 plus feet up, and they land in a little tiny hole that is there because the stage moves and morphs and, like, changes.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's insane.
I wouldn't want to land in any hole. I saw this video go...
It's a job.
I saw this video go viral on Facebook. So, like, you know, videos on Facebook would be like 700 million views.
Mm-hmm.
And it was of it was Michael Jackson was performing, and he had this bit where he was going to get onto this crane, and some kid ran onto the crane and held on to it. And it goes over the whole, like, audience.
Is the kid hanging?
But Michael is, like, holding on to him and still...
Oh, and he's still doing an amazing
he's still doing
job.
all of it while holding this kid who's like, yeah,
like saving a kid's life.
Yeah,
basically?
saving his life. You idiot. Yeah.
Wow,
Did that kid get arrested?
The security came and got him at the end. But like that is, you are
you
crazy.
kidding me? He got to go into Michael's limo and went to his house afterwards.
No, we don't say those things.
I don't believe any of that shit, by the way, and none of it was proven. So
I have no opinion, and I don't.
have an opinion.
It's years
I could talk about
later.
it all night.
I know I could talk about it all night too.
I have never spent the time. That is not my business. I enjoy Michael Jackson. I would never say I am more of a Beatles fan than Michael Jackson. 2 different genres, but in my mind, they're in like the same era.
Sure.
I would love to hang out with the Beatles. Mostly, I'm a fan of the Beatles, but I'm more of a fan of John Lennon, which is like. Yeah. I don't want to say he's the worst one, but he is the worst one.
Worst one in terms of what, musicality or person?
Just
he was
as a person. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I used to idolize him a lot,
surprising.
but I read up about him and I was like, oh, he used to sing about Give Peace a Chance, but wasn't that kind of guy often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wasn't quite active in that either.
George Harrison was apparently like the nicest one out of all of them. And like I read up on his life like later because my dad is a huge Beatles fan, and I was like, God, that guy got the short end of the stick on a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Yeah, he's like attempted murders on him, and he got stabbed.
Somebody
a bunch
broke
and,
into his apartment and attacked him with like a
and
lamp
he
and
fought
stuff.
a guy, in his own house.
Really?
Yeah.
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 That must
While
have been
My Guitar
scary.
Gently Weeps has a very sad story behind
Yeah.
it. So
There's an amazing documentary by Oliver Stone about George Harrison.
Really?
And it's amazing. It's like a 2-part documentary that was on HBO a while ago.
We
but
gotta
it's really
admit,
good.
the One Direction is the new Beatles, whether we want to admit it or not.
I don't know if that's
I
true,
wouldn't
because like,
say that.
what are they doing now?
Yeah.
That's true. They aren't like really for about a year or two. They were like, oh, they're selling everything and making money. But I haven't heard much just because one of them went solo, Zayn, and like.
That's the thing. Like everybody wants to say like these are the next Beatles, this is the next Michael Jackson,
We won't
the
have
next
one.
that. But I don't think they're. I think it's done.
No, and it's like it's like their own little bottle thing. They did all these new things first. Like they did have their own. If you listen to it, it starts to sound the same after a while. But they were the first.
Even though Elvis ripped off all those black
people,
people,
yeah.
and then Beatles ripped off Elvis,
Yeah.
who ripped off black people. But it's okay because it's all inspiration and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think
I
there's
used to
gonna be
love
another
Elvis
Beatles.
too. I still know all
You
Elvis.
love Elvis.
Oh
Elvis
yeah,
is great.
deep down.
He has great music.
I wouldn't like. I don't think I would be able to speak the way I do today, is because I used to listen to his music like so much that it's a part of me. He and Johnny Cash, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and Obama, I would listen to all of them on full speaker, and their voices are trapped in my brain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're good voices.
Yeah, I love them.
You're in your like room or something, and you're arguing with all three of those people in your head.
Honestly, I do. Yeah, I love them all. But like, I agree with what you're saying. I don't think how we're always like, oh, this is the next Michael Jackson. Like, I don't think anybody else will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta say that this is a new big person.
Yeah, new. And
you
like,
can't really compare them to the greats.
Well, honestly, the one that we have now that we won't realize this for another 40 years.
I think I know who you're gonna say.
It's Justin Bieber.
Yeah, you're gonna say that.
You might be right.
Yeah.
I think he's too.
Like,
okay, so
if he keeps this up until he dies, he's the new guy.
Jesus,
Maybe.
that's
Yeah.
an awful.
I think it's too. I think there's an
Yeah.
oversaturation in a way of these like artists. I think that there's a. And also like with social media and with entertainment news, it's like everything is talked about. Everybody's talked
That's
about.
true.
Everybody's on equal playing field right now. I think so. I don't know. I mean, I think the way to know is like give everyone like 5 years. Like if after 5 years they're still being talked about and they're still making amazing music, then we can be like, oh, this person's destined for some greatness.
What I really like about Justin Bieber, I followed him on Instagram maybe a couple months ago, and it was a very good decision because like I just get to see his life from his perspective or what he wants to share, and it's so different than I expected. Like he like performs now in like just like a hoodie. Like he'll just go up and just be like, the Justin Bieber that I like that when we first came out, he was like, my hair's perfect and I got this nice jacket that matches my shoes. Now he shows up and he like doesn't even smile and people are screaming and like, ah!
But like Michael Jackson and Prince came out in like full tailored like crystals and shit and like fucking amazing.
I miss the crystals. I miss the bedazzled.
Yeah.
That was the bedazzled
It's
suit.
Like Elton John and shit. Elton John would come out in the 9s like fucking Freddie Mercury would always be dressed
Because they're
in
like
the 9s.
showmen. They're like showmans.
Show ponies, yeah. We used to be like that. Oh.
No, I mean, there's something about it that kind of makes it like there's a campiness. What's the not cheap? Not
gaudy.
No, that's
I
not
think campiness is a good
campy.
one.
Yeah, there's something about it that is
Flamboyant.
No, it's like it's more like it's like gimmicky, I guess.
Yeah. It is
but like
gimmicky.
it's gimmicky, but like
It'll come back.
I appreciated it though,
Yeah.
because it made them.
Well, even like Lady Gaga doing all those weird, like, what's she gonna do next? Like, I always like that kind of stuff.
People
but
didn't
she
realize
stopped doing it.
she said that was the studios. She came out and like an
Oh, so she
interview.
didn't want to do that.
She didn't want to go. Maybe she did to an extent, and then like they pushed
Interesting.
further. But
I honestly really did like some of the things that Lady Gaga was doing. I think like the media had a way of anytime. So Lady Gaga truly was an artist in the sense of form, not just like a musician. She was also a person who made public stunts that would make you think. That's what an artist is. The same as Basquiat, the same as anybody else. And I think the media would be like, we need clicks on our websites. Well, let's say that Lady Gaga's stupid for wearing a meat dress. Think about it for a second. What is she doing?
that made me so uncomfortable.
The meat
And
dress.
that's because it got you. It made you feel something.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I've just never.
Confusion might be one of the things.
Yeah.
You felt.
Yeah.
It's just
Intense
it's
confusion.
raw meat.
Like go to an art museum and see how many times you go, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
That's
Alright.
It's all subjective and it's all different.
Yeah.
If you were to
Everyone thinks a little
do,
different.
if you did a stunt like that, what would you do?
he already did. What the fuck is
Oh, the pepperoni.
Oh yeah, and the dead bird.
The dead bird was a good one.
True. Oh yeah, you're doing that.
I wanted the dead bird to be a little bigger, a little bit of a bigger reaction, but it was okay.
I
It's
think
important to me.
Thanks, Sam.
I really mean it. It was a good one.
I think it's just important to kind of like, I don't like taking those things too seriously.
Yeah.
Especially those award shows, those YouTube award shows
You did
especially.
have to pin through your jacket.
I had
to
to
get
I
pin
still
through my
want the
jacket,
award. I mean, I
Yeah.
still want them.
I just feel like there's this whole stigma with award shows where it's like, look at me and like I'm the best and I want to win and if I win I'm better than you and that
Yeah.
whole mentality like is very gross to me.
Yeah. And I feel like comedy exists to negate those because I think I might have talked about it recently on a podcast. Remember we went to the Webby Awards where Bill Nye said Sam's name and we all saw it?
Yes, he did.
But
That was amazing.
Hannibal Buress won an award and talked so much shit about the award
Yeah.
ceremony. Too far. I was sitting there. I was like, man, you didn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
But I like that. Some people like stand up and like fight.
I don't think he was invited to the next Shorty Awards, was
Doubt
he?
it.
I hope he was invited to host. that would be the best decision.
He just
I think
hosted the
Mamrie
Webby
hosted it.
Awards.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
had just hosted the Webby Awards. And what's the
Oh,
difference?
it was the Shorties is where
Yeah.
you
I
guys went.
thought
Oh, yeah.
TJ Miller doing the Critics' Choice Awards.
Uh-huh.
TJ Miller hosted that. I thought he did a great job. He's super funny.
I would love to host an award show. I would be so nervous. Like Chris Rock doing the Oscars, I could not. The person I am now, I could not handle doing something like that.
You ever seen
I mean, it's all written out and you read it. It's basically a SourceFed job.
But like everybody that you would be embarrassed, like Rihanna's probably up in there. Like Rihanna's probably up in there. Yeah. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of Rihanna.
Chris Rock definitely had like 25 writers with him.
That's true.
Helping him write all of his shit. And also probably more than that.
And you should see, I just remember there's a photo of Chris Rock blatantly looking at Rihanna's ass like this. It was my desktop
I always
background.
hate those pictures because it's like, look at him looking at boobs.
No,
they used to do it for us all the time. Remember when Trisha was here? Oh, he's looking at Trisha's boobs again. And it's like,
no, you were looking at Trisha's boobs and saw me in your peripheral vision.
Or you paused it at a moment where your eyes are moving and suddenly you're looking at like, you think that we're just these like hormonal maniacs that are just staring at boobs?
You don't think that I have all day to look at her and I chose to when I could get caught doing it to look at it?
Exactly.
You don't think I did that 5 minutes before?
Yeah, we have just as much opportunity to look as you guys do.
Yeah.
And
we have more.
It's even worse to try to do it in clear view of people that can catch you.
I forgot about that time that was happening.
I hated that time.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, oh, you're looking at Trisha's boobs. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not looking at
We're playing cards against humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out a way to win. Yeah.
We're working.
We're working.
We're working.
You caught me.
Let's end this shit.
All right.
All right. That's
Thanks, everybody, for watching the SourceFed Podcast. I'm William Haynes.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Can we not?
I think we can.
Go ahead and follow. Go ahead and rate and review this on iTunes and make sure you listen to it on SoundCloud and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm Sam.
I'm Steve.
And I'm William Haynes.
And guys, thanks again to today's sponsors, squarespace.com/SF. Don't forget, you can enter offer code SourceFed at checkout to get 10% off.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter.
At Sam Basher.
Follow
me on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter. Buy my book.
No, I'm gonna want it. I want you to follow me on Twitter. You better block it, William Haynes, and then follow me. Oh, if I one of these days, I'm gonna buy a book. Oh, you cannot talk to me like that.
What if Phil's body just fell on this table? What a night.
And he looks badly decayed. He's been up there for a month. Like, who's been doing the PDS? Dad always used to say legs and eggs, you know what I mean? It's all about the perfect, you gotta have...
Go any farther, and it did. Remember the aliens? Remember the rainbow ones?